Alright, we're going to look at how to derive the quadratic formula, which says that if we have a generic quadratic equation and we put it into this form, where a, b, and c are the coefficients, then we can say that the x is the variable here, so x would be negative b plus or minus the square root of all of b squared minus 4ac, and all of that's over 2a. A couple things about the quadratic formula. Make sure that your fraction bar is underneath all of this, and the other thing is to make sure that your square root is over all of this. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll derive the quadratic formula by solving this equation here, and I'm going to do it by completing the square. The quadratic formula is just completing the square basically in a formula sort of form. So the first thing we'll do is divide everything by a so that we have a 1 in front of the x squared. So we have x squared plus b over a x plus c over a equals 0. Now we need to move the constant term c over a to the right side, and that becomes negative c over a. And the interesting thing now is we need to complete the square on the left side. So I'll add something to the left side to complete the square, and then I have to add the same thing to the right side to keep it balanced. And so what I do is I take half of this middle coefficient, so 1/2 times b over a, and I square that. And so I get b squared on top. On bottom I have a 2a, and when I square that I get 4a squared. So I'll add b squared over 4a squared here. Okay? And then on the left side I need to factor it because I completed the square. It's going to be something squared to get the x squared into an x. And then my term that goes here is half of the b over a. Half of b over a, as we already saw, is b over 2a. And then on the right side I need a common denominator to add these together, which is 4a squared, so I'll multiply top and bottom here by 4a. And so I end up with negative 4ac plus b squared all over 4a squared. Now that I've completed the square, I need to take the square root of both sides. So I've got x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of the entire fraction. I'm going to rewrite my numerator as b squared minus 4ac just to make it match what we have up here. And then my denominator is 4a squared. Make sure the square root's over the whole thing. Now I can simplify the right-hand side a little bit. I can split my square root to take the square root of the top and the bottom separately. So the square root of the top is the square root of the top. And the square root of the bottom, 4a squared, the square root of that is 2a. Finally, I can subtract my b over 2a over. And since these two fractions have the same denominator, I can put them together with the plus or minus on the top. So again, what we've just done is proven that this quadratic equation here, which a, b, and c could be any numbers, except a can't be 0, because if a were 0, it wouldn't be quadratic. But if you have an equation of this form with any numbers a, b, and c, you can plug it into this formula, and it will tell you what x is. Okay, so all that the quadratic formula is a formula for that's derived by completing the square to solve a quadratic equation.